day before the longest night of the year. We actually moved it ahead a day because Saturday would be tough to do. But the longest night of the year is coming up, and nationwide, that's been chosen as a day to remember the homeless who have died. The Multi-Service Center for the Homeless Director, Elsa Ramos, provides me with the names that she has, people that their outreach workers have worked with, and the workers from Mental Health America and other organizations like that who work closely to go out and try and convince the people that have been on the street for a long time to get off the street. They knew people who died, and then I got another phone call this morning, one more person whose brother had died. Well, that we know of, there were 11 who died on the streets last year. There were 2 women and 8 men.
My name's Jeannie McCahey. My little brother, Michael Joseph McCahey, he died January 28th, 2013. He was homeless, been homeless for over 10 years. He had more or less given up on himself. He had fallen down a flight of stairs right before he died, and when he did it, he cracked his ribs, which ripped open his spleen and his liver. He went upstairs to a friend's house to use the shower, and he died up there.
So how old was he?
56.
He was 56 years old.
Yeah, and he used to, many years ago, he used to go to Mexico and help the Christian children learn the Bible. But unfortunately, somebody turned him on to crack, and that's what did it. But he tried. He was doing so good in the end. I think God was just tired of seeing him suffer.
What they thought for a long time, and what the attitude was for many, many years, was you get people clean and sober and then you put them in housing. They have found that actually it works better to get them in housing and then get them clean and sober. So that's been the change that's begun to happen in the last couple of years, is that we have been working toward getting people in housing first. And the federal government has realized that and is supporting programs that do that, and our local government. Long Beach has been a leader in many ways in programs for the homeless. Some people who are just economically homeless, no problem. You can put them in a house and they're give them help with their first and last month's rent and security deposit, and they have enough. A lot of the homeless are working. A surprising number are actually working, but not making enough money to really live on. They might have enough money to stay in housing if they got into housing. I've talked to everyone from computer engineers who, when the collapse hit, they and their spouse and little child were living in a car off Anaheim Street behind the library, and it was a nice car because they used to have good jobs and they didn't anymore. Those kinds of folks, you want to get them off the street quickly and back into housing, and then help them look for jobs again. Other people with mental health issues, when we closed the large mental health facilities that the state ran under Reagan, when he was governor, the promise was that there would be local facilities. The problem is that the funding for all of those hospitals came because there were unionized workers who said, we need funding for the hospitals for the mentally ill. Once they were all dispersed into the community, there was no organized group to lobby for funding, so the funding simply vanished. And so it's only programs like Mental Health America, The Village, and other groups that are primarily privately funded that have been able to really pick up the slack, and it's not nearly enough. The Mental Health America program that was here at the Villages at Cabrillo, fantastic program, a nationwide model. probably the very best nationwide model that we have, one of several, several. Mental Health America's program, The Village, which is an outreach program for the homeless, is a spectacular program and really does a great job, because once people are on the streets, they're kind of out of control and they are off their medication. One of the things that Mental Health America works very hard to do is to get people into housing, but always with supportive services. You can't just put them in a house and expect them to be on their own. I wanted to also mention the multi-service center for the homeless. That was also really a national model, and we opened ours, 15 years ago perhaps, and it became a model for the rest of LA County, and it creates one spot where all the homeless can go. The villages at Cabrillo, which is the old Navy housing, which was then redone to support primarily veterans programs for homeless veterans, but also many other programs, including homeless families and children. The Beth Hewin School is there, which is an entry center for homeless children to get them back into the Long Beach school system. I guess the closing thing I want to say is that as a community we need to care about all our members. We can't say, oh, those people. And there are many ways to do it. There's the Mayor's Fund for the Homeless, which you can support, the Homeless Coalition, HomelessLongBeach.org, and the Rescue Mission all have websites and all have ways to donate. And that's usually better than handing out to people on the corner, but on the other hand, those people are hungry too. So the community needs to allow supportive services in their neighborhoods, because the people are here, and it's better to have them in some kind of supportive housing.
The January 24th, 2013, City of Long Beach 2013 homeless count found 4,387 people are without a home. 530 of them are children. While our government rescued the banks, we are now facing cuts in food stamps, subsidized housing, unemployment, Social Security, and health care for the needy. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, Jesus tells us that we not only need to love our neighbors as ourselves, but we need to help them when they are in need. The economic crisis has created more homeless people. These organizations need your help. Contact them. This is Marlene Alvarado. Yo soy del pueblo.
Yo canto porque el presente no es de pena ni es de llanto. Por eso es que cuando canto, canto lo que el pueblo siente. Soy del pueblo, pueblo soy. Y a donde me lleve el pueblo voy. Como cantar es mi oficio, yo canto el esfuerzo duro de construir el futuro con alegre sacrificio. Soy del pueblo, pueblo soy. Y a donde me lleve el pueblo voy.